Today has been a product of a lot of hard work and weeks of personal engagement. From the moment Hamas kidnapped these people, I, along with my team, have worked around the clock to secure their release. We saw the first results of this effort with the release of 2 American hostages in late October, followed by the release of 2 Israeli hostages. I've consistently pressed for a pause in the fighting for 2 reasons: to accelerate and expand humanitarian assistance going into Gaza, and 2, to facilitate the release.
A group of several lawmakers say they are moving forward with a new bill that would stop all payments to lawmakers, and if they can't reach a deal on the debt ceiling, this could happen. So a new bill, everybody, would block lawmakers from getting paid if the government defaults on its loans or shuts down, which I would say is a good idea considering the fact that they don't even want to send out the stimulus checks anymore. So this is a possibility as negotiations over raising the debt ceiling have stalled between Joe Biden and the Republicans. But first of all, folks, before we get into the information, I just want to say thank you for watching my channel. And as a result, and as a way for me to show my appreciation, I just want to say, here's a free $60 Amazon gift card. Use the code right here on your screen and enter it on the checkout aisle on Amazon.com. Remember guys, it's a free Amazon gift card, and if you would like it, just redeem the code. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos because I'll also be releasing a ton of more gift cards. Today, Democratic representatives have talked about introducing a bipartisan bill that would require the support from payroll administrators. The lawmaker would still eventually receive their pay, and the payments would be released at the end of the 118th Congress in 2025. But so far, the government is allowed to borrow about $30 trillion, everybody, and they have hit that limit in January. But still, the Treasury Department has been using extraordinary measures to pay the nation's bills. Janet Yellen has even told lawmakers that earlier this month, her best estimate is that a default could occur as June 1st, and though it could be a number of weeks later. She called it imperative that Congress act as soon as possible to increase or suspend the debt limit in a way that provides long-term certainty that the government will continue to make its payments. Earlier this week, Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden spoke and appeared to make some progress towards the debt ceiling in a meeting earlier this week. McCarthy told reporters after the short afternoon meeting that it's possible to get a deal done by the end of the week. By the end of this year. Folks, what do you think about this? Is Joe Biden doing all that it takes, giving all of his effort to help the people out with stimulus payments? Tell me what you think in the comments below, because I definitely believe that he's not, and he could definitely be doing a ton of more work to help out the American people with stimulus checks.
I recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Buchanan, to inquire.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I want to thank you for your service. You and I just talked briefly a few minutes ago, but my passion is really to look at the big picture in terms of debt and deficits. If you look over the last 15 years, everybody talks about reducing the deficits, and that we've ran up almost $20 trillion in debt in the last 15 years or so. So what can we do about that? But also I want to how does that tie in your opinion, to inflation? In the last 4 or 5 years, or last couple of years, we ran into $4 or $5 trillion of additional spending. They like to spend
as well. So outrageous, you might not even believe it. According to President Biden, Senator Ron Johnson's proposal is even stricter, and it calls for the programs to be revisited annually. Republicans may raise the retirement age for Social Security and shrink benefits. These threats to Social Security, Medicare, have led to a heated campaign season as advocates work to defend the program. And President of the Social Works and Political Action Committee has attended at least 45 in-person events for 35 campaigns this season. Now, before Social Security was even created, more than 50% of seniors lived in poverty. And before that, Medicare was passed, and more than 35% of seniors had actually incomes below the poverty line. So the latest Social Security's Trustees report just shows the program is on a 13-year runaway. Just for how long it can continue to pay full benefits, it's not necessarily prompting the attention to the program in this election. Polls also show Americans are just worried about whether benefits will be even there for them when they need them the most. Changes to shore up the program may include benefit cuts, tax increases, or a combo of both. And right now, we just know the Social Security Administration will begin dispersing monthly payments to Social Security and SSDI recipients this week. Starting in January, you'll get a benefit increase in your check, and that just starts in December for SSDI recipients. The Social Security Administration has a strict schedule that it follows when sending out monthly payments. For those who receive SSI, their payments are always almost sent out on the first of each month. There are two reasons why your payment wouldn't arrive on the first of any month. And if the regular payment date falls on a holiday or weekend, then in January, the first of the month falls on a holiday and a weekend. So when this happens, the administration just sends a check on the nearest business day. So don't worry about that, folks, because we know that President Biden will send out more stimulus payments, and hopefully more people can get the stimulus checks that they need.
What I can't do is I can't guarantee that we're going to be able to get rid of inflation, but I do think we can. We've already brought down the price of gasoline about $1.20 a gallon across the board, and I think that the oil companies are really doing the nation a real disservice. Six of them made over $100 billion in the last quarter in profit. $100 billion. In the past.
It is happening. The inflation rate is expected to rise once again, everybody. And now the Federal Reserve is planning to take big action to address this major issue. With millions of people worried about with Congress stepping in for a little extra relief, people don't know if they're going to receive stimulus payments in 2023. But in this video, I'll explain to you the most important stimulus check information that you have to know. Because remember, folks, if President Biden does send out the fourth stimulus check in time, many people will get the relief that they so desperately need. And that would definitely be a great thing. So I hope that President Biden can keep his promise to the American people and send out stimulus payments by 2024. Do you think he will? Tell me in the comments. Well, high inflation and the state of the economy remain at the top of the list of America's top concern. A new poll showed that at least 60% of respondents said they have a great deal about concern and inflation in the economy. The percentage increased by 2 points for both categories from a poll taken last year. The Fed is already raising its key interest rate by 0.25 percentage points, underscoring the central bank's commitment to fighting inflation, even if that heightens the financial pressure on the country's banks. Now, folks, listen to this. As recently as 2 weeks ago, the Fed appeared set for a steeper rate hike and prepared to keep them elevated for longer. But a startling deposit run at Silicon Valley Bank and a closure of two smaller banks and a takeover of two other banks has created this panic in the financial system. Many economists, as well as the Fed, noted the bank's newfound caution following the turmoil would likely drag on the economy. The high cost of living is causing financial headaches for millions of people. That is why many states and cities have approved new relief. There is a $5 million fund from which Americans could get much needed $500 stimulus checks. Everybody, listen up. It's important now. This is happening in the state of Missouri, specifically in St. Louis, and the checks are directed at families with low income. The mayor, who was one of the most people affected by this crisis, said that the people in the city and state have already a plan to send cash to hundreds of families, if not thousands, who are going through a tough time. The bill was presented and is calling for the state to spend $5 million in funds that are coming from the federal crisis stimulus package. They are urging the federal government to agree on sending $500 monthly payments to local families for the next year and a half. This idea is for this program to begin as soon as possible, and its approval will go into 2024. Now, the program is not approved yet, but a green light would mean that eligible people will be with low income, who are either parents or guardians of children in public city schools, and it's a great chance for the city of St. Louis to offer support for working families and their children. The Nebraska governor has also made some school aid and tax cut plans to keep on rolling this week, as lawmakers give a strong thumbs up to a package of property tax